you, Sean.
Harold, can you hear me and see me?
I can hear you and see you.
Beautiful, man. You're looking good. I
Yeah,
love
man.
that hat. Looking good, man. I love that hat. Is that a basketball hat from San Francisco?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If they ever come back.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, it was about 2 months ago that we chatted and talked about a whole variety of things in your career. And with this COVID pandemic and all that, before we get to the main point of my interview, what have you been up to the last 2 months?
You're looking at it right now. I've only been in the house except to go to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go with my wife and I wait in the car usually, and she goes in and I help on the getting things back into the car. Then we have to bring everything home and wipe it down.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, I did sneak out the other night to the men's club golf course, the men's club at the golf course,
Okay.
and play a few holes with them.
Nice.
But that was the only thing I've done other than go to the grocery store.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you been playing any drums at all? Just practicing or nothing
I,
really?
I'm having a hard time getting a what word do I want to use? Motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Because I go down to practice and I say, well, now what am I going to practice? Like what for? I don't know what the next. I usually always had a gig in front of me,
Right.
and I was always thinking of that. Or if I tried to improve on something on a gig from behind me that I'd done a week or so ago. But man, by not playing at all, I mean, I sometimes feel like my hands are getting fat, and the stick is getting heavy. Jeez. But I
Yeah.
have to go down just to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in
Yeah.
shape. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So in our last interview, you mentioned that you were the inventor of the stick bag. And before we get into the story of that, just in case the listeners aren't drummers or they're not too familiar, I have a prop. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay. So this is kind of your standard stick bag for you people that don't know. It's a bag that holds your sticks. And usually there's these little clasps, and you can hang it on your floor tom, and there might be a bag for something else. But it's specially designed for drumsticks, and if you want to look cool, you can put it over your shoulder when you're walking down the street. So before we all had stick bags, Harold, what did people use? Did they just was it just cacophony
You
and stuff
you
everywhere?
put them in the top of the trap case where you put your hardware.
Okay.
Yeah, because back then all the hardware went in a trap case because it was a
Okay.
lot smaller, the hardware.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah,
right.
so you just put your sticks in there. The I was always embarrassed going to my music school. I caught a bus to go from where I was staying, and having to carry my sticks and brushes on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody looking at you. It's like seeing a guy with a guitar on the bus.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, but you put it in a case of some kind.
Right.
And so anyway, I went to South America with Paul Winter in
Mm-hmm.
'61, and when we were '60, whenever, and when we were down there, we were in one of the recording studios, and a couple of the drummers came in, and these guys had it was like an archery bag, like you
Mm.
put bows, like you put your arrows in,
Mm-hmm.
and they had one of those uh, hanging from the drum, and they had their drumsticks in it. And that's where I got the idea from, was just like that. So when I came back home to the States, I was studying it with different people, but Al Payson with the Chicago Symphony, he
Mm-hmm.
was one of the guys. He was a snare drummer there. And I said, hey, man, I come up with this idea, this stick bag. And I said, I want to show it to you. Wonder if we could use this idea and make it an idea and use it. He looked at it and then he said, well, why don't we open it up, and then hang it right here on the drum.
Hmm.
And I didn't even think of that, and it was really a lot more practical. Once he did that, he realized that, hey, man, you can just hang this on the mallets. You can hang it on the timpani. You
Mm-hmm.
can hang it on any one of the drums or in the percussion area, and depending on what you wanted it for. But it became all more like that. And man, it was a great idea. And when we tried to sell it, the idea to the drum companies, they said, "Oh no, drummers don't need a stick bag. That's like
Wow.
girlish." Yeah, nobody would take it. I'm talking about Ludwig, Gretsch. I don't remember who else was out there at that time. But yeah, it was like girlish or something, you know. So anyway, it's funny to me that it went from nobody had one to now everybody has one. I mean, because it was a necessity thing. It's just like a trumpet player or violin player with a case, and they got their bows and they put them in there. And anyhow, yeah, it was just an idea that blossomed from a necessity, and because it was like a woman's purse, a pocketbook, uh, it was an unpatentable item. That means if you made this exact thing, but you changed one zipper or one button, it was a completely different idea. So you couldn't patent the idea. Well, next thing I know, we started getting polite letters from people saying, "Hey, we saw your stick bag. We love it. We're going to make a few and change this and that." And they were all nice about it. I mean, I think LP Percussion was one of the first. Yeah, everybody was polite. And so I'm just glad to see everybody uses it, and it did do something practical for drummers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine living without it, you know, because if I have drumsticks in my car, they're rolling around. It's like you ever watch Shark Tank?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, like their whole thing is find a problem and then come up with the solution, and that's what
Oh,
this is. Like
oh
there was,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Boy,
So
I
do
wish
you
they
have?
were around then, huh?
I know, right? Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I could have used a shark.
So did you bring one of those South American arrow quivers back with you, or just the idea?
Yes. I brought the quiver back with me. It was
Okay.
very soft leather. Oh boy, it was so soft. And it zipped up and down. And that's how the guy put his sticks in. Then he zipped it back up, and that was all he had was that little round tube there.
Okay.
So I kept it, but
You
let me
have it?
tell you, I'm digging out in my basement now about 60 years of storage stuff. I'm finding things, and it's taking me all day to get through one couple of things because you read it and your memory starts coming back.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
you have
so
it somewhere in your
it's
house?
huh?
You have that somewhere in your house? The
Yes,
first one?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was raised. I don't throw anything away.
Right.
Yeah, we use not completely dirty paper towels a second time.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, yeah, man.
So did Al and you put a zipper on it and like get somebody to get a sewing machine and make a prototype of the one that opens up and hangs on the bag on the toms?
Yes, yeah. Al had a guy that was doing some of his work already. I forget the name. Bass and Percussion Products.
Hmm.
That was the name of his company, and he had a guy that was already doing his work for him. And for
Wow.
the first stick bag, it was really easy, but it wasn't that well made, and we used the cheapest material we could at
Right.
the time. So there was all those little things that entered into it. But every year, I've seen it get better and better by whoever's making it. I love
Oh,
it. Yeah,
yeah. Some of them are
yeah.
crazy now. They can even stand up on their own and all that type of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. So I'm glad we were able to spend some time on this and just get to the inventor of the stick bag because I never even thought that someone invented it because it was just like, you know, it's like I'm sure someone invented a drum key, but
Yeah.
you can't live without it. So that's really cool.
Okay, man.
So
Yeah.
let's see, just a couple follow-up things. To commemorate this, a friend of mine is doing a big band arrangement of a tune that I wrote. And we were trying to come up with a name for this tune. It's a bluesy type of rockin' tune, and we had gone back and forth with some emails and texts. And the tune is being released in about a week or so. So the title of the tune is actually Stickbag Jones. So this big band tune is going to exist now in honor of you inventing this stick bag. So we named it after you.
Well, thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
You know that we didn't have a name for that bag in the very beginning. So
Okay.
Al Payson's wife, she came up with the name Jonesy's Stick Tote.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And then later it got into Jonesy's Stick Bag, And then later, I started getting razzed so much about my name being on the bag. They just call. I forget. He started winning into pace and percussion products on it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's great. So, well, maybe we'll actually make a subtitle called Jonesy's Stick Coat or something.
On a trumpet solo or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Can't
that'll
wait
be
to
released.
hear.
That'll be released in about a week. It's the Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra. So it's a whole big band. I'm sitting in on drums. We have a lead trumpet player, Jay Webb, sitting in from the Doc Severinsen Tribute Band. So it should be a good time.
All right, man. Well, make
Yeah.
sure I'm tuned in.
You will, man.
Okay.
And I might even put part of this interview into the YouTube release of it to get you in there.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. We have a special addition to this one. I let my 9-year-old daughter know that we were talking last night, and she loves Tony, Lady Gaga, and all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So, Natalie, why don't you come over here? Harold, this is Natalie.
Hi.
So she was super excited. We were listening to, let me see if you can see it, the Cheek to Cheek album. I don't know if you can see it back there on my thing. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And I told her that you played on that, and you've played with tons of other people. So she even wrote questions for me to ask you, but
That's okay.
Yeah, I figured she could do it herself.
Yeah, she should. She
Okay.
should. My grandchildren called me. I didn't have to call them when I did that job.
Oh, of course, right. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
Natalie, why don't you ask Harold your questions?
Yes.
So, one of them is, so you know how Tony, he sometimes he says something at the end of like his songs or something.
Yeah.
Did he ever say to you, "You are beautiful"?
Yeah. Well, what's your question now?
Oh,
She just wanted to know if he does that because we have some live recordings of him, and he always does that. You are beautiful, and she loves that.
He does that, and you never know for sure what he's going to say at the end. I mean, I think he just kind of like bursts out whatever he's feeling. Yeah, and that in that case, that's what came out, and you can understand how the way she looked.
All right, you got your next question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Lady Gaga?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got. You know what? My grandson and my granddaughter have got to meet her. Yeah, we've got pictures of them. Sean, after I get to my secretary, my wife, I'll have her help me send some pictures to you.
Beautiful. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm telling you, because my grandson, let's see, he's 12 now. When did we do that? About 5 years ago or more?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because he was around that age then, see? And yeah, he was a little too young. He fell asleep at the concert. Yeah. And my wife said she was glad he did at one point because of the wardrobe she came out in. Yeah. Yeah, and he woke up at the end when everything was back on top. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'll have my wife send some pictures, Sean, to you.
Oh, that's great. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then Natalie had one more question about the drums, and you can see the picture. So she'll ask you the question. So go ahead.
Do you prefer to play the hi-hat, the snare, or the bass drum?
Well, for me, I think of all of them as one instrument. I'm kind of like tapping the bass drum with one foot and the hi-hats on 2 and 4 on the other foot. And then my left hand is just playing that little bit. So I think of my drum set with all 4 appendages, with both arms, both legs. I think of that just like if you sat down at the piano and it's one instrument. That way I don't end up hitting something to hit it. I'm hearing the tones and colors of the drum set. Yeah. So I don't have a particular favorite instrument. Yeah, but I have to love them all.
Perfect. Oh, she has one more question. You've inspired her for one more question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
did you ever meet Frank Sinatra?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it was one of those kind of times. I was with Count Basie, and we were in Las Vegas. It's one of those kind of times backstage that I got off the bandstand because Frank had his own drummer. So I'm standing back there in the wings, and I'm standing next to him, waiting for my next position. Yeah, we ended up talking. He was the nicest guy in the world.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Yeah, all those reports you heard about him being mean or a bad guy, I don't agree with, because that was out in public, and the paparazzi were just beginning to be born then, you know? Yeah, so he was really a nice guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Harold. Thanks for taking time to answer Natalie's questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Natalie, I guess you know that's one of my favorite names. I'm on the CD that won, like, I think, 8 Grammys, 9 Grammys. Unforgettable. Natalie Cole.
Thank
Yeah, yeah.
you.
So okay, Natalie, I'll talk to you and see you soon.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
All righty. All right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that portion, Harold.
Hey man, I like to hear what the future wants to know.
She loves it, man. She likes Tony. She likes Count Basie. What's the other one? Dean Martin. She loves Dean Martin. She loves them all.
Great, man. Let me tell you, one day I was down at Capitol Studios, and I don't know who I was in there recording with. And across the hall on one of the breaks, I hear Dean Martin's voice. Now I go in there, and it's one of the top guys in LA, Al Schmidt. Great mixer at Capitol Records, and he was all the way back to like Sam Cooke and those guys. This guy's been there through Nat King Cole and all of them. Anyhow, he was in there taking Dean Martin's voice off of his Dean Martin records, and they were going to use them over commercials and other things.
Wow!
And I heard one of them. It's really something what they're starting to do now. You know, with those voices of the past.
Yeah.
You know, like some of those voices be lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we don't have the quality voices anymore. But this guy was in there taking those Dean Martin voices, and I'm going to tell you, when you heard Dean Martin's voice just by itself, it was just as pure and as flawless as Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett. I mean, he was pure. Yeah, I couldn't believe how good it was. Yeah. So anyway,
incredible.
That memory. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time, and I hope we get to start playing live again, so we have a reason to practice and get our chance.
Yes, yeah. I just put on old movies and Dr. Fauci.
That's about all we can do right now, and enjoy our trip to the store. Last week, I went to Home Depot to get something, and I felt like I was going to Disney World. I was like, wow.
My wife and I were here at home getting ready to go there one day. Couldn't figure out what to wear, you know. It's like
exactly
weird.
right. I know. It's a strange time, man. It's a strange time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But stay safe.
Right on.
And your daughter, you do beautiful work, man.
Thank you very much.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
Okay. Thanks, Harold. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.